Perfecto De Castro here, and welcome to my YouTube channel. I received several emails inquiring about the different instruments that I use. I decided to talk about each instrument, each guitar, in a series of web videos, which I will file under the Gear Talk playlist on my YouTube channel. The first guitar I'll show you guys is this Fender Stratocaster. It's I believe either an 88 or an 89, made in Japan, 62 reissue. I traded a BC Rich Warlock for it. The previous owner wanted something with a Floyd Rose. I was looking for something a little bit tamer, looks-wise. Now I can honestly say that this guitar has been my constant companion throughout my guitar career to date. I've used it on pretty much all the recordings I've done back in the Philippines, and I've used it on countless gigs. For blues gigs, this was my main axe. For recordings, if I needed a bluesy tone or if I needed really good clean sounds, this is my go-to guitar. Now what makes this guitar special for me anyway is the amount of use it's gotten. It's also relic the proper way, by playing the crap out of it. All these crackles in the finish were acquired by road wear. By playing this guitar on stage in front of hundreds of people under hot lights and even hotter and very much humid Philippines. Now, despite the number of years this guitar has been with me, it's really not heavily modified. I kept the original vintage style tuners. The bridge is original too. The pickups, the vintage style Alnico EMGs. I think they're called SVs or something. Sounds like a Strat, no hum, so it's great. The pickguard is fairly recent. I got them from a company called Q Parts. They make those skull knobs that you can see in the big ticket guitar stores here in the US. Now there's no fancy wiring modifications. It's a straight Strat setup, you know, so 5-way switch, tone knobs are wired to the neck and middle pickups. Main reason for that is I like doing the Hendrix trick where you roll down the tone on the neck pickup and you go for that pseudo wah effect. Prior to relocating to Los Angeles in 2004, I had to sell my guitars, this guitar included, to pay for the visa processing costs. The guy I sold it to, a good friend of mine, Jay, he was in a touring cover band. So for the next several years, he played this guitar 7 nights a week, 3 or 4 sets a night. That even put more mileage into this guitar. A few years back, I was vacationing in the Philippines and he gave me a call and he asked if I wanted my guitar back. And I said, of course. So I bought it back from him. It just felt really, really good to play this guitar again after getting it back from him. I took it back to the States. I called up my good friend Corey Jordan of Kojo Guitar Works. These guys. He's based out of Joshua Tree, California, and he's a really, really good guitar tech. I shipped this guitar to him to give it the once over, make her sing again. And the first thing that he told me was, dude, I haven't seen a guitar with this much use in my whole entire life. You could actually gather DNA samples because of all the crud that's accumulated over the years. I never had it clean, so there's my DNA in there, and then there's Jay's DNA and whoever else's DNA. One of the best things that Corey did to this guitar is his refret job. The original 62 reissue fretboard radius is 7.25 inches, I think, the vintage radius. And I like a fairly flat radius for the stuff I do. Since this guitar had 2 or 3 refrets done prior to this, he didn't want to change the radius of the fretboard. So what he did was he installed big tall frets and he radiused the frets. And what that does is, on the outer strings, it feels almost scalloped because of the space between the string and the fretboard wood. But towards the middle, it feels a little flat. It feels great. I like it. Now going back to the tremolo, for most of its life, I've always played this guitar with the bridge flush against the body. And I never used the whammy bar because one, primarily it was a backup guitar. So if I broke a string on one of my Floyd Rose equipped guitars, I needed something that would be stable. And if I broke a string on this guitar, I didn't have to worry about a floating bridge going out of tune. Nowadays, I'm using a floating setup for my tremolo. I found a way of tweaking the vintage style tremolo to where it's very stable tuning wise, regardless if I bend the pitch down or pull the pitch up. And it doesn't need the locking tuners, the roller nuts, the nut juice, or whatever other doodads you need for tuning stability. As far as the setup goes, what's involved is setting the bridge so that it pulls up a minor third on the third string, a whole step on the second string, and a half step on the first string. Now once you have that set up, the springs in the back also require a little tweaking. The treble spring is set up shorter than the bass spring. And the whole reasoning for this is because the bass strings have more string tension. You need to counteract that more with the spring behind it. So this is a little more stretched out and this is a little more relaxed. I just angle the spring claw to get the tensions right. And the result is perfectly stable vintage style trem. I can still go back up to tune. Well, there you have it. I hope you enjoyed this video. I certainly enjoyed talking about my oldest friend right here. If you're in the US and would like some guitar work done, contact my buddy Corey Jordan of Kojo Guitar Works. So just search for Kojo Guitar Works on Facebook and he'll take care of you. So until the next video, peace, love, happiness, good heaven and stuff. Take care.